Okay, so in our previous video, we looked at timing and spacing, arcs, and we also added in I can't remember what it was now, we added in the slow in and slow out, the ease in and ease out. And in this session, we're going to be adding in the squash and stretch. Okay, so for this, we're going to go to the top, and what we want to do is basically move our character, squish it when it lands, stretch it when it's kind of in the air, and get it really sort of following that process. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to play with the rotation. Okay, so at our start frame, we're going to rotate back slightly, so our character's kind of leaning in the right, looking in the right direction as they're jumping up. And as we move along to around here, we want our character to have moved around so it's sort of facing down to follow that movement. I realise I haven't clicked the stopwatch, so just quickly click the stopwatch. I'm going to turn the graph editor off as well by clicking this square here. And I'm just going to scroll back, and here I'm just going to type 0, and then I'm going to scroll back to how it was and around about there, and you'll see very quickly as we go through, we follow that. Okay, and as we go down, we want to land facing up. So this time we're going to go to the frame before. Actually, I'll show you very quickly. So if I type 0 here, so just remember that's 73, that value. If I look at the frame before, you'll see I'm starting to turn mid-air. I don't want to turn at this point. I want to be facing down right until I hit that point. So here I'm going to change this to 73 again. So we're facing down, and then the next frame we've landed. So we're facing the right way. And in this frame we're okay, and then around here we want to be facing up. So I'm going to hit this diamond again to keyframe that in, and in the next frame we're going to pull this back and we're going to be facing up. Okay, following that trajectory. As we move along, around about here we'll move it a little bit along, so we're facing again, and then when we get to the middle point here, we're going to rotate it again, and as we go along again, we're going to want to be facing down around this point. So I'm going to put it forward, and then again, before we get in, we want to keyframe that, so push the star. Oh, sorry, the dark keep calling it a star, it's a diamond. And then once we get inside, we're going to change it back around. So yeah, I apologise for any mistakes in my descriptions. I've been teaching all day, and it's quite late in the evening, and I am a little bit tired. So as we come around, you'll see now we're following that, and we also want to keyframe that again. Move along to the next one, and we're going to scroll that back, and we're then going to move along again to here, and we're going to move this piece up. Going to rotate this around here, and then we're going to move it around again. So it's really nice, this really relatively easy, and we can just take our time to go through. And right here again we want to be facing forward, and plus when we get here we still want to be, I want to turn around just a little bit more, just for a bit of an added punch as we come in, and then once we land we come back. So we'll just give that a quick playback. I'm going to in fact type 0 and push enter, and if we play that back we should now see the head turn, so we can see the eyes moving there, which is really good. So we want the eyes to, it's partly the reason why I included the eyes, to show that we can add a kind of element of direction to that, which just breaks up the features of the character without it being too dull. So now we've put our rotations in. Now we're going to add our squash and our stretch. So we're going to use the scale, and you'll most likely find that it's off because I've turned it off. But if you just create this on your own, you'll find this part locked. So basically, the scale, they both change the same amount. So you can see there that it's going up and down, and you can see the scaling is happening by its in a similar way. We want to unlink that chain, and we're then able to separate things as we want. So for our start frame, we're going to start a bit squished because we would have pushed down. So I'm going to type 115, 115. So we don't want to go too crazy with this, and we're going to take this down to 85. So kind of 15% either way, and I wouldn't really recommend going beyond that. So by default, it would have set a keyframe. And we're going to move along now till we are mid-air around here, and we're going to go back to 0 and 0. Sorry, not 0, 100. Apologies again, I am very tired. This may happen quite a bit. And so by that point then we've kind of come out of our squish state and back to full. And then as we come down here, we're going to go back to minus 85 for this one. Okay, that didn't work. Let's just go back to 0. Sorry, 100. There we go. 2 seconds later and I've done it. Let's just pull that in. Okay, so this is 85, sorry, not minus 85, and the other one should be, there we go, yeah, 115. So we've kind of got two squash states happening. Okay, and actually here, I think what we're going to do is add a bit of stretch. So this one, we're going to add that as 85, so it's a bit thinner, and this one is going to be 115. So as we go through that jump, we kind of change shape and we lift. So we kind of go from that, there we go. And we're going to start to really feel that very soon, which is going to be great. So once we're in here, we're going to land there, and we're already going to be in our squish state for the first one. So at this point we're going to push the diamond, and in the next state here we're going to change this to stretch. Actually we're going to change that to the normal size, so we'll do 100 and 100. Got it right, hooray, that time. And then as we lift up, we're going to go back into our bullet shape, so 85 and 115. Okay, and then we're going to go up. As we come into here, we're going to go back to around here, and at this point we're going to add a keyframe in by pushing a diamond. As we get to that peak, we're going to go back to 100, we're going to go back to our original state, and then tab and 100, 100 and 100, and then as we come back in, again we're going to go to 115 and to 85. Okay. And then as we come down, you'll see we've got the state there. We want to keep that, so we're going to keyframe it in on the first frame on the floor. Then the second frame on the floor, we're going to swap these over, so 85 and 115. Okay. And as soon as we get to here, we want them to swap again, 115 and 85. And that state should be our normal. Cool. And let's just double check there that we've got, so we were normal at this point. I think actually we're going to change that to a stretch state, so we'll do 115, sorry, wrong one, 85 and then 115. So we'll change that one back and go in. And then we're just going to keyframe that around there, and then we're going to go back into our original state. This might be a bit tight around here, so we may just pull that keyframe here, the first one back. And then here we want 115 and 85. Then as we come in, we're going to want same thing again. We want to keyframe that. We want to land, and when we land, we actually want to pull that, draw that out. So we want to give it a couple of frames and then go back up to 85 and then 115. So we're going to have him sort of squish up and down very quickly as he lands, because all that momentum and energy is still going to be in that form. So we're going to go down, up, and down, and we're going to take that to about 15. And we'll give that a playback and just see how that kind of feels. So let's just make sure we can see all the bits that we need. Lovely. So now I've got a nice little jump with some squash and stretch happening, and we can kind of really feel that character. Okay, so that's cool. So give that a go and show us your results. And if you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I'll answer them best I can. But in the meantime, so yes, squash and stretch. And the next one, we're going to be looking at adding some anticipation, and we're going to be kind of doing follow through and overlapping action and secondary action, all kind of in the same tutorial. Which should be quite straightforward. And yeah, because they all kind of work with each other. So I'll see you in